Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Albert Mohler and Star Wars. So first I'm going to talk about Albert Mohler, and then I'm going to talk about what he said about Star Wars. And also this video involves faith, right? So I just want to call that out real quick. All right, so Albert Mohler is the leader, he's the president of the Southern Baptist Seminary, right? And he's a very important guy to me personally. And the reason why is I listen to his podcast every day, Monday through Friday, right? And it has become, I would say, top 3 podcasts I listen to. And the reason why is I'm learning a ton from it. So what Albert Mohler does is he takes the news from yesterday and he talks about it from an evangelical Christian perspective, okay? Now, there's so many things that are special about this. So one of the reasons why this is special is he is an evangelical Christian. And so that might seem like a small thing, but it's not, right? So one, evangelical Christianity is a very, very specific slice of Christianity. And so, specifically what it is, we believe in Jesus Christ. We believe that he is the only path to salvation. We believe that he's the Son of God, and we believe that every single word of the Bible is true. And once you believe those things, right, it cuts out a whole lot of things. Like, it really reshapes your life, right? Now, what happens is that's challenging because when you believe the things I just said, you have to believe some things that a lot of other people feel are repugnant. And it's hard sometimes. Like, it doesn't make you super popular, and it's challenging, especially in today's society. Well, Albert Mohler, he is an evangelical Christian, and he really carries the evangelical Christian Christian banner. He's, I play Warhammer 40K, and there's these Space Marines who have this pole that sticks up off their back, and they have a banner that for the Emperor. Well, that's what Albert Mohler is. He's a Space Marine for evangelical Christianity. Like, he has got, his Space Marine armor on, and he carries that banner. And the thing that that's so exciting about that is he is crazy, crazy smart. Super literate, incredible vocabulary, stable, he is a real role model. He's definitely a role model for me. And he's an evangelical Christian with a podcast. Now that is pretty incredible, because one of the things that is a problem with evangelical Christianity is, by and large, the vast majority of evangelical Christians are either hesitant or downright frightened of technology. And it's definitely a problem within our community. And so the fact that Albert Mohler has this podcast and that he is incredibly capable with technology, he's kind of breaking the norms within our community. And it's really important, and it's special, and it's helpful, and it's exciting, and it's inspiring, right? So, and then the other thing that I wanted to talk about Albert Mohler is, one of the things I learned is, so one, his doctrine, like, he truly believes in the Bible. Like, he believes that every single word of the Bible is true. And that is, man, I will tell you, that is a hard thing to believe and carry forward because of the ramifications of what it means, right? They unfold like a fan, right? And it really is life-changing, and it means that, there are certain things that you believe that, just are really, really challenging for other people, right? So one of the things that for him out there is he is talking about yesterday's news from the perspective of an evangelical Christian, right? And he does a great job with it. It's about 20 minutes each day, perfect, amount of talking. But the thing I learned from him is he makes a lot of points. Like, he's like, here's a Christian point, right? Well, that's not different. There's tons of pastors, preachers who make points with the Bible, right? And we need that. And I'm in church every Sunday, and we need pastors to make the point with the Bible, right? And I think that should come from your church and from your pastor. And of course, you should be reading the Bible yourself every day and taking lessons out of it, right? Which I do as well. And but when you come to commentary, right, he has a very different approach. I've never seen this done as well as Albert Mohler does it. So what he does is he actually he makes his points with his enemy's content. I've never seen anything like this. So he uses Slate, which is an incredibly liberal media outlet, which is very good at media outlet. I listen to Slate all the time. He uses the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. He uses a lot of liberal, the Washington Post, the New York Times. I think I've listened to a few there. Sorry, the New Yorker, like really, really liberal outlets, right? And and what he does is he reads them, and then he sees where they have seen a point that is actually an evangelical point, and approached it from a different perspective. And this is very, very hard to do. And Albert Mohler is an absolute master at it, right? So one of the things that happened, so I was listening to his podcast, and he has this really unique take on a whole lot of different subjects, and so I'm listening to him, and he comes on this one subject, and he says, "Hey, guess what today is? It's the 40th anniversary of Star Wars," and I was like, "Oh no, wait, this is a collision of two of my favorite world things," right? So one, a lot of times, that's the other thing is, since he's an evangelical Christian, it's not, there's a lot of times where he's saying, this is wrong with the world, right? So I know, there's not a good chance that he's going to say, this is great about Star Wars, right? And I'm like, oh no, man, this could be calamitous for Scott Garibay, because my two favorite things are being smashed together. This is Albert Mohler, my absolute favorite commentator, talking about Star Wars, my absolute favorite, intellectual property, right? My absolute favorite, fictional world, right? And I was just like, okay, let's get into it, right? So what he did was he talked about Star Wars, and since he's the leader of the Southern Baptist Seminary, the thing he was going to talk about is how Star Wars relates to religion, right? And what he talked about specifically was how really Star Wars was structured around Eastern religion, right? And he was really kind of calling it out, saying, hey, a lot of Americans are into this, and a lot of evangelical Christians are into this. And I have seen this. I've absolutely seen this. A lot of times when evangelical Christians like something, they will try to say this is an evangelical thing and kind of wrap it in the cloak of evangelicalism, right? And he was saying Star Wars is not even remotely evangelical Christian. It really doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. Its roots are Eastern mythology, right? Eastern religion. And I think he's 100% right. And so he was just bringing clarity to it. And that was his only point. And I was okay with it. I came out of it unscarred, but I was very, very worried the moment Albert Mohler started talking about, Star Wars, because I have a lot of respect for him, and I have an incredible respect for Star Wars. And he brought, and I thought he approached it well. And his only point was that the core influences on Star Wars are really Eastern religion, and I think that's absolutely true. And and that's one thing too is I love Star Wars, and I think there's a lot of lessons to be taken from Star Wars, but you can't take its philosophy, right? You can't take it whole, right? You have to parse it. You have to be aware of its sources. It's just you have to be careful. And one of the reasons why you have to do that, and you have to be really careful about your sources when you are evangelical Christian. The other one is another perfect example of this is Lord of the Rings. So a lot of evangelical Christians have been pointing to Lord of the Rings, saying, "Oh, he was a Christian like us," and like an evangelical. And I'm like, wait, he was a Catholic, right? And there's very distinct differences between Catholics and Christians, evangelical Christians and Catholics, and we care about doctrine, right? You can't get this stuff muddled, right? And so the other one is like this happens all the time. There are just like pet things where the evangelical community gets excited and they oh, this is evangelical Christian content. Another one is Bono. Like I'm not sure where people got this, but there's a lot of people that really believe Bono is essentially evangelical Christian content. Now, that seems really strange to me, but so it was very interesting to hear Albert Mohler talk about Star Wars. I came out of it unscathed. I was highly alarmed. It was really a very interesting occurrence. Thank you.